Hey there, Whatnots. It is Thursday, January 23rd at noon Eastern, Canadian, United States, Finland. And this is a show called What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code What Chaos so you can get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Running my game, I'm DJ Bean, and running that shirt of his is Pete Blackburn.
It's a cool shirt.
It's a cool shirt, and across the room is Sean DePaz. Hello, Peter Blackburn.
Hello, David. I'm wearing the shirt because it's my Letterboxd shirt. It says "Be Kind, Rewind." Pretty nice.
Did you buy that from Letterboxd?
I did buy it from Letterboxd.
Not a Letterboxd guy.
I love Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd, everybody. It's a big Letterboxd day because, number one, Oscar nominations out this morning. Justice for my guy Denny. The Best Picture noms, not amazing. Not a huge fan. Not the best year.
Haven't seen them all, but
we have seen one of them.
not psyched.
We have seen one of them. We've seen The Substance. We're going to review that with Jakob Lauko later in the show.
Maybe.
So it's the debut day of Jakob Lauko Movie Club. Huge day for us.
Maybe. We don't know what's on the show yet.
That's well, we that better be on the show. It's the only reason I showed up to work today.
Here's the thing with Letterboxd, and I know that I can control it. I don't like the, hey, I just saw a movie, here's its score, I could use Letterboxd and just wait a week and a half to log a review, but if I know I'm not going to do that. I know that I'm going to write it down like 2 hours later.
I'm a minimum next day guy. I will not review a movie the day that I see it.
Oh, okay.
Like there's been times where I've gone in and I've written my review and I've given my 5 stars and haven't posted it until the next day.
In my former job, I would review movies and it would always be on the Tuesday or the Thursday after it came out. And I loved that because I would actually be able to think about it, read about it, do whatever, go on Reddit, look up stuff. The whole Letterboxd thing, not for me. Maybe at some point I'll get into it, but for now, I just like doing the Jakob Lauko movie reviews. How are you, Sean?
I'm all right. I also can't do Letterboxd. I'm not good on keeping on track of keeping up with things like that. And also, I don't like just like screaming my opinion into a void. I'd rather talk about it with somebody.
That's another.
Yeah, you can talk about it. That's a good way of like generating the discussion, I've found. Like I have conversations not like on Letterboxd, but I have like friends and stuff that follow me on Letterboxd, people from the internet who follow me on Letterboxd, and they say, "Hey, saw your review on this. I either disagree or I agree," and then you have a conversation on it.
But I also hate having conversations over text. It's like I don't like trying to convey any kind of actual idea over text. So I would much rather just talk about it with people.
Well, you sound like a loser.
Someone in the chat says, why DJ look like the kind of guy to get bit by a zombie and not tell the group he's infected?
That is oddly specific,
yeah,
but
it's
I
specific
respect
and
it.
confusing. I was going to say I don't see it. I've never thought about that before.
I think it may have been partially because you started the show like pulling at your collar and like looking a little uncomfortable. So like maybe that contributed to the vibe.
Possibly. You started talking about Letterboxd, so I did probably start crawling out of my skin. Just not a Letterboxd guy. Someone says, Sean, a boomer confirmed. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, in some ways.
Sean's a boomer. He's a Republican.
I have boomer politics, boomer social views, boomer technological views.
Boomer age. People
True.
don't know this.
Yes.
What do
I
we got
have
on
had
the
a lot
show
of
today?
birthdays recently, so I'm quite old.
Tell
You do.
Tell the folks, Pete, what's on the show, or try.
Today on the show, we have first category, Styx. That's a band. I don't know anything about the band Styx, so I'm not even going to be able to come close to guessing what that has anything to do with.
Think about things that happened last
Styx. Players are stealing sticks. We have a stick stealing epidemic.
Nope.
Fuck.
Yeah, because read the next one.
Oh, taking the goalie stick.
Yeah,
So
I
heard you guys discussing this before the show.
I had the exact same experience. I read Styx, and I was like, that's got to be about Matthews and Elvis.
Styx, obviously, one of their big hits is the song Renegade. What are the first words of that song? Oh, mama. Mama.
Again, just a crazy reach.
Adam
Yeah,
Fantilli
I mean,
scored a hat trick, and his mother threw the first hat. It
Never
was a
even-
great thing.
Maybe this is like a on me, hand up situation. Never even heard of Styx.
It's I think you. I don't want to say
You-
like age not appropriate, but like music it can apply to
Yeah.
anybody. It just kind of depends on your taste. I don't know if everybody else is feeling this, but I'm getting a little fucking sick of these show rundowns because there's just I don't have a fighting chance
Okay,
on
so
some of these.
that's one of them. Do
Okay.
the next
one is taking the goalie stick. Absolutely have a fighting chance on that one. There is a stick stealing epidemic in the NHL. We'll talk about it.
No.
Oh my fucking God. I'm going to.
Jake
Go
Allen
ahead.
will be taking the goalie's stick in New Jersey right now as Jacob Markstrom was injured last night.
Going to have to take like a very early ad break before I stab you in the neck. Jacob Lauko Movie Club is the third topic. And why don't you tell me what that one's about? Because I'm not even going to guess.
Okay, Jakob Lauko of the Minnesota Wild will be joining us to discuss a movie. We're going to talk about The Substance and get his take on it. That one I thought you should have gotten, but
Okay. Finally, Heliar. That is a Severance reference, one would think, but also I know that we're going to talk about Connor Hellebuck. So Helly could be a nickname for Hellebuck.
Helly receiving
The
heart
trophy?
consideration?
All right.
Yeah.
So that one is right in my wheelhouse.
1 for 4 and
Fuck
not
you.
the one I thought that you would get. I was quite sure you would get the third one, but I like that the first two mess with your head so much that you were afraid to guess Jakob Lauko Movie Club meant Jakob Lauko comes on and talks movies. So
It wasn't that I was afraid. It was more that if that wasn't the answer, I may have jumped across the table and strangled you.
okay, well, let's discuss Adam Fantilli's hat trick last night because the Blue Jackets famously were playing in Toronto, and Adam Fantilli, second-year player, stud. We love him, friend of the show. You can check out our interview with him. It's on YouTube everywhere. Subscribe. Gets a hat trick. Third goal, a result of Kirill Marchenko passing up an empty netter, giving it to his guy, and I think it was Mitch Marner that he had to wait out and basically throw a puck over Mitch Marner's back, scores an empty netter. His mom, Julia, in the crowd, takes off her hat. She's waiting. I think that she honestly got a hat between the second and third goals.
Wait, go back
And-
to that screen.
No, we're going to get to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. Don't worry. But here is Julia, his mom, sitting next to his dad, Bruins fan, Giuliano, tossing a hat. Look at my guy Giuliano with his water, and look at Julia.
It's a great moment, and I had a take last night that I decided to hang on to for the show because I knew it just would have pissed everybody off, and I know the way that you can read my interpretation of hat tricks. You know exactly where I'm going to go here. Fake ass hat trick.
Tough for that
It's a
to be your
fake
first one.
ass hat trick because that was the most forced third goal I've ever seen in my life. Marchenko, shout out to him, being completely unselfish for his guy. Andrei Fantilov, very, very unselfish for his guy. Yeah, it was so forced to get that third goal. I'm happy for Adam Fantilli. Great moment for him. Great moment for his family in the hometown. That's like a 2 out of 3 on Hatterboxed.
You think it's a Ricky Davis triple-double?
Yes.
I don't think he's Andrei Fantilov yet, though. Or maybe
Well,
he became
it's-
Andrei Fantilov.
He
last
said
night.
that he would be Andrei Fantilov when they rose the chemistry.
Yeah.
It seems like chemistry is pretty
Fair.
good because he's feeding him hat tricks.
Sean, can you give me now the still of Julia Fantilli? That is her just having a ball, sitting next to a Leafs fan who is not having a ball.
Not having a ball.
There was an interview after, I forget who it was with, but the parents were talking from their seats about the whole thing. And the other guy at the end was like, shout out their son.
That's awesome.
Imagine going to a Leafs game, period. But just going to see your favorite team play and you're next to the parents of the person who tears your team up. You can't be pissed. You're an absolute asshole if you do that. So you just have to sit there. I wish I wasn't wearing this fucking shirt and hat and just get all of the good vibes that are horrible for you off of two very happy people.
Especially when you pay like $4,000 for a lower bowl seat to a Toronto Maple Leafs game.
I was gonna say you could. I feel like if parents could convert me, like if I spent enough time around the parents of a kid on a different team, especially one that I didn't have like an inherent hatred of, like I would probably leave that. If I was a Leafs fan in this situation, I would leave that game a Blue Jackets fan as well.
I'll tell you what's like that kind of energy and that sort of like enthusiasm can be contagious, even if it's against your favorite team. Like if you're going to a game and you're watching your team get kind of manhandled by the opponent, and they're you know, I think the Leafs scored 1 goal last night.
Yep, 5-1.
So like tough game. I would rather be sitting next to the family of a player on the other side than just like a random asshole fan.
Oh,
absolutely,
that's
because you are
true.
hearing shoot,
Yeah.
you're hearing blame the goalie, you are getting all the greatest
You're
hits.
getting waved out of the building by
I
someone
would-
like me.
Yeah,
At least that's you got like a memorable moment from a bad game as
Yeah.
a fan.
and people being happy makes me happy. I am a cheap date as far as that's concerned. You were both with me after I saw the Oilers lose the Stanley Cup final. I wasn't thrilled. I was bummed out. I had a little borderline cry session with bagged milk, but largely I was happy to see Panthers fans, young and old, fathers and sons and everything. I was like, this is a good moment.
Yeah.
Like, I am very, very happy for these people. So I think that I wouldn't like jump ship from my team, but for the night, especially if my team was losing, I'd be like, well, at least I'm seeing a really cool hockey moment.
Here's where I would be rubbed the wrong way. Sean, can you go back to that screenshot of Julia? That is an invasion of personal space. Like, it's one thing if you want to be happy for your son, but like, she is like on this guy's lap.
Honestly, getting back to Sean's point, I would rather
That's such
rather
a funny screenshot.
have my personal space invaded by a happy person, even when I'm miserable. Then, like, what if Pete, you were at a Bruins game and you didn't know me, and I was a Bruins fan, and it's not going the way I want it, and I'm just like stress eating. I'm getting nachos, keeping them on my person, chicken fingers. I'm taking up all this space, moving. Like, that is so much worse than that. A happy, lovely parent who looks exactly like Adam Fantilli, may I add.
No, yeah.
Just having
they
a
look
blast.
so very much alike.
To be fair, looking at the video where the screenshot came from, it looks like the Leafs, like the guy sitting next to the Leafs fan is also a Leafs fan and is like leaning over him too to like talk to her. So I'm guessing that they had been talking throughout the game and that they were just communicating. And the Leafs fan who appears pissed in this picture, it probably is pissed, is probably a part of this
He's
whole
like
situation.
the Jesse Pinkman at the dinner table between Walt and Skyler.
Talking about how you nuke the potatoes and it's never the way it looks on the box. What happened to truth in advertising? Yo. Adam Fantilli, by the way, 14 goals, 12 helpers, 26 points in 48 games. And while that's not the most boisterous stat line, he's playing center.
Yeah, so
Like, he's
Well, he wasn't
you mean
doing
like
that.
he's holding it down the middle.
I'm saying, like, his job isn't easy. A lot at this point in a lot of young players' development, you might still have him playing wing and kind of
Wasn't
ease him
VP
in.
doing that to him last year? Was he not playing wing for parts of last season?
He was.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
So like, I'm like, everything I would say Adam Fantilli wise on track. I think it's going great.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna like kill him for not having big lofty numbers or whatever, but I think you'd like to see a little bit more out of the offensive production. I will say he was a little bit stunted in year one because of the coaching. So we can push the timeline back a little bit. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to critique Adam Fantilli. I think he's contributing to a very good team this year.
Okay, that was the most interesting thing that happened last night, probably. And if it weren't that, it would be this little stick swap thing that went down between Elvis Merzlikins and Austin Matthews. Elvis Merzlikins loses his stick, just straight up ganks Austin Matthews's. Austin Matthews then picks up the Elvis Merzlikins stick and begins playing with it. Someone had to have yelled at him because he immediately threw the stick back down and was like, well, fine, but my stick isn't available right now. Both players penalized. You're not allowed to play with an opponent's stick. This has been going around recently. We saw, was it Jonathan Quick did it with Uri's stick.
Yeah, that's the other screenshot right there. It's unbelievable that both of these things happened within a week of each other. My big problem for the one that happened last night, which was Matthews and Merzlikins, they both got penalized. And I get it by letter of the law. I have a spiritual problem with Matthews getting penalized there.
Same. So do I.
It's too cool.
No, it's
he only did it because someone else.
He only did it because Merzlikins stole his stick.
This sounds a lot like a conversation I am done having.
I agree.
Sean, and you better pick your side on this carefully, Mr. Buddy Boy.
No, I think the second that a goalie picks up a stick from the other team, you just got to play. You got to call the play dead. Like you can't.
Yes.
Like it's just such an unfair advantage or disadvantage, I guess, to the Leafs in the situation where like you either have to give up the chance to play 6-on-5 hockey, or you play 4-on-5 hockey while Matthews runs back and gets his stick. Like I agree spiritually, not how I would approach it.
Or it's like give Merzlikins an extra 2 for like instigating
something like that. Yeah. Make him actually serve it.
A chatter asks, WTF is gank? To gank is, per Urban Dictionary, to steal in an underhanded manner. To slyly just yoink, you kind of gank something. You both understood when you heard that word, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so hopefully everybody is informed
We're
there
learning.
now. I'm not mad at Matthews. I think that everything was called right. You can't, it was very funny, and it being called gave it more attention, put a bit of a spotlight on it.
I mean, I agree that everything was called right by letter of the law. Again, my problem is more spiritually. Yeah. And at least the referees got this one right because Quick wasn't penalized earlier the week.
Matthews, after the game, said something along the lines of, I mean, he took my stick, and then it was like, I guess I got to read the rule book. It's like, well, not
nice,
really.
Captain.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you dock your captain points for not knowing the rules? Doesn't know puck.
But I also like you don't need to now. You just learn the rule. Like you found out the hard way.
True.
Yeah, you famously do not. You learned through experience, which is one way to learn it. You could have not been penalized if you learned it before. I'm surprised that he doesn't know that rule, given that it's happened like 4 times in the last calendar year.
I feel like that's I feel like that's something most hockey, like every hockey player and most hockey fans should know. You can't use another player's stick.
Someone in the chat says, why not use yank instead of gank? It's a different word. He didn't yank the stick. He just picked it up. Oh, no. The goalie ganked it for sure, which is just like.
Give me that.
Okay, yeah. Give me that. He ate the whole thing. He wolfed it down. Okay. And then now I got my city doing front flips and saying inappropriate things. So for the rest of this conversation, just not going to look at the chat. That was the most interesting thing that happened last night. More interesting than the Fantilli hat trick.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it's crazy that in a week we've gotten 2 gank sticks, or I guess 3 gank sticks, 3 gank sticks, and nachos.
Nachos on the ice.
Yeah, crazy.
And a goal,
absolutely,
and a
poppin'.
2-point night from a goalie.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah,
One of
man.
which was a goal,
2025. We're on the ups here. We did have the conversation at like the beginning half of this year. Not a lot of the crazy in-game stuff happening that we like kind of made our money on last year during this show.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, man, you see that weird shit happen last night? There wasn't a lot of that in the first couple of months of the season.
Lame duck hockey.
Are goalie sticks having a moment?
Could be.
They're being used to do all sorts of things.
Joey Decord famously talked to us about how he could tip 1 million pucks with his goalie stick if he was allowed to camp out in front of the net. Austin Matthews wanted to put that into practice last night, and he wasn't allowed to.
At this point, just let him do it. Just let him do it. The stuff that people get away with. You see what Connor Garland got away with the other night? Like, oh my boy. Just let Joey Daccord try it once. And I want you to try Prize Picks, because tonight's another big DFS night. I'll just tell you, Connor Garland against Leon, I'm doing more than on points for both. I'm going to go more than half a point for Connor Garland because you just know something's going to happen. Leon is just cleaning up these days.
I'm going to go less than because Connor Garland's just going to drag Leon down.
You're going to go
take him out of the play.
Oh, maybe because that other guy isn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you, if you're talking, are you matching up Connor Garland with Leon Draisaitl as much as possible?
Yeah.
I mean, those two were having words throughout the game anyway.
I know.
They got in each other's faces.
Well, not really. Garland got into Leon's chest.
Like lower neck
yes.
area. You can hit the ice this hockey season with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. And you can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks.
Get it, Randy.
Chat is out of control.
The worst mistake that you made was pointing out someone being inappropriate because it only ramped it up more, I think.
Does the chat not realize clearly that they can always be inappropriate?
I don't know. I'm just saying when you brought
I am
attention
sorry
to it.
for...
They don't ask your permission.
Yes. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. A lot of people were wondering about that, and now they know, as the notorious B.I.G. would say. You could sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select winner projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So, I would like you to download the app today and use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
I'm dying laughing at chat right now. We got Huba Gank. We got Thomas the Gank Engine.
He's ganking, having a moment.
Garland was ganking McDavid. The new TV series with Ben Stiller, Gank Bumps.
This is completely random. I just want to bring it up real quick.
Isn't it's not Ben Stiller, it's David Schwimmer.
Yes, Goosebumps, yeah.
Yeah.
Completely random. Just want to bring it up real quick. DeMar Hamlin has been nominated for Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh!
Comeback Player of the Year finalist. Again.
Do you know how many distasteful, gross tweets I did not send this morning?
Give us one.
I mean, quite frankly, I texted them all to various people. He came back. I'll just give the premise of it. And this is stolen from a conversation I had with a friend. But like this year, he just came back from being a bad football player. That's all he did. Like, he didn't almost die last year. He was a bad football player last year, which is what he has been his entire career. And now he is an okay football player, which I'll be honest,
Pro Bowler.
Didn't see coming.
Pro Bowler alternate.
Yeah,
I would argue
that's just like progression.
I mean, I would
It's
think
not
this
a
is
comeback.
I think this is a continuation of coming back from dying. A and B.
I think when you die,
you get to have that over everybody for the rest of forever.
You got a 2-year window.
At least.
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations on dying?
Also, it's definitely just a makeup call. Like, he got robbed of it last year.
No, we didn't.
Oh my God,
I mean, I'm not
was a good
What
player.
happened to my guy?
Joe Flacco. That's
was
not what the
spiritually dead.
That's
And he became a good
not what the
football
award
player.
is. That's not what the
And
award is. Not
he
what the
brought
award
the
is.
Cleveland Browns to the playoffs.
Not what the
Harder
award
to
is.
do than survive dying.
Okay, but well, first off, I know they changed the rules this year because of that. But if we're giving awards from just coming back from sucking, then DeMar Hamlin deserves it. And again, I think he definitely he died and then came back and played football games. Not a lot of them, and not very well, but he did do it.
Stevie Ray Vaughan died, came back, and you know what he was? Stevie Ray Vaughan. Awesome. Best at what he did.
In other news, Gank Lundqvist, Logan Gankoven went to Wendy's and got a Gankinator.
Why are you saying gank sounds gross? Mainly because the person who said they got ganked daily in college. which does
Gankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
So good. Kevin Gankinen, Kevin LeGank. This is awesome. Chad is killing it. And if you want to gank some gear from Bauer, go to
Gank for James
Bauer.com and go to the sale page because they're offering a wide variety of discounted products that you can gank, including skates, sticks, protective gear, and apparel that caters to players of all levels. You can go and find significant savings on premium hockey equipment known for its quality, its durability, and its performance. The page highlights seasonal deals and clearance items, creating an opportunity for you to get some trusted gear at a reduced price. That includes 30% off Nexus Sync and E17.6, 40% off select skates, up to 20% off select helmets, and up to 50% off select apparel styles and collabs. You got premium quality at discounted prices, and there are limited time offers that were, while supplies last, you got to grab them, you got to gank them, and make them your own. Go to Bauer.com, hit that sale page, and use code FreeShipWC for free shipping on your order. That is courtesy of us, FreeShipWC. We got you. Go to Bauer.com. They love us. We love them. We love you.
John Evans says, I got a jacket using this code and it showed up in 2 days. Bauer is not fucking around. Thank you to Taylor in the chat who notes, Sean said DeMar Hamlin deserved it. Not your best take, Sean.
Are you guys aware of the ambulance?
Yeah.
Like in the context of DeMar Hamlin and the Bills?
Yes.
Okay. Are you?
Give it to me.
Like the ambulance that they like wrapped in like DeMar Hamlin, like prayers for DeMar Hamlin stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it became known as the DeMar ambulance. And then there's jokes about like doing donuts in the ambulance and stuff like that. I think if the Bills do manage to win the big game,
Hamlin's got to be in the parade.
ambulance, you got to put DeMar on top of the ambulance. Better on top than in. That's what I always say.
No, Sean's coming around.
He has ascended from inside the ambulance.
Okay. The Bruins got worked last night by the Devils. Was that 5-1? I said
I stopped
the
watching.
Blue Jackets. I watched every second of that game, and this is another consequence, side effect of cutting the cord.
5-1.
My skill issue
Yeah.
with jumping around, I just watch one game at a time now. It had been a while since I did that. Wouldn't recommend.
I mean,
Because a game starts, it sucks, then I just watch the whole thing.
almost every part of your streaming experience, the downsides has been a skill issue.
Guilty as
You
charged.
did get better internet, so I applaud you for that. Now you can stop crying about that. But I also am a cord cutter and a diehard Bruins fan. You could not keep me on that sinking ship last night.
I watched every second of it. It was
That's
such a bad
crazy.
game. They were so bad. And the Bruins are still playoff-ish, so we're not going to get crazy, even though we've discussed where do they go from here. Cam Neely has famously discussed that there's two paths they could take at the trade deadline. You have discussed with some teams asset management, where even if you're not totally selling, make some hockey trades, see what comes of it. We were BSing before the show, and yesterday we discussed how maybe I was a year too early on Seth Jones being on the trade block. Maybe a year later, I could also be onto something maybe with this. We've talked about Brandon Carlo as a tradable guy, and we have friends in Alberta who have talked about Brandon Carlo. Would he ever be on the trade block? And we were discussing before the show, and you said Brandon Carlo, Oilers, Matthew Savoy.
Yeah.
Who says no?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a deal that I think has very, very strong upside for both sides. If the Oilers get Brandon Carlo, perfect fit. Perfect fit for their second pair on the right side.
2 more years at $4.1 million against the cap. Bruins fans last night would drive him to the airport. He's not a bad player. He is, I think, a good number 4 right shot defenseman. He's a lot better when he's playing with Hampus Lindholm, but he's not playing with Hampus Lindholm right now. I think that if he were playing with Darnell Nurse, he would look a lot better because Darnell Nurse is having a great season, seems healthy. Everything seems okay there. I know that people have talked about the Oilers wanting more of a puck mover. They've signed John Klingberg. We'll see what he ends up being. I don't think that you need the most exciting thing on your second pairing with Darnell Nurse. Let him be more of the kind of activator. Give him Brandon Carlo, and then you've got 2 solid solid pairs. And here's another little wrinkle to it.
Yeah.
I've been asking questions about the Evan Bouchard future
Oh,
for years now.
I was going to bring this up. Please.
Isn't that a little... Go ahead.
For the Bruins?
Oh!
I was thinking Evan Bouchard as like a later thing going to the Bruins. And that would be a really good fit for the Bruins. And as much as I have like a distaste for paying Evan Bouchard what he's going to command on the open market, he does make more sense for the Bruins than I think he does for the Oilers on the cap.
Oh, that's a great... so you thought about better than me. I was saying I'm not sure what Evan Bouchard's future holds if I am the Oilers GM, because you've got to pay Connor McDavid so much money. You got the Draisaitl extension kicking in. We're going to know about the cap before the trade deadline this year, so maybe it's all going to fit and be copacetic. I don't understand how that works, really, because they're already paying so many players so much money. Bouchard, in the right deal, I would make expendable. He would be awesome for the Bruins. I was saying acquire Carlo, a right shot defenseman with term. So obviously he's not going to be a replacement for Evan Bouchard, but you're less desperate to get back a certain type of defenseman or a certain type of player if you are to trade him. You have more assurances as to what your blue line would look like.
Yeah. Would you consider like a Charlie Coyle and Mason Lohrei for Evan Bouchard? Charlie Coyle, Mason Lohrei plus for maybe, I don't know, you'd have to go plus.
I mean, now we're talking about two different deals. I think that if you're doing,
definitely.
I think that if you're doing a deal this season for Brandon Carlo, you're probably doing Matthew Savoie. Apologies if I don't have
Savoie.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got 27 points, 10 goals, 17 assists in 36 games in the AHL this year.
Yes, Bouchard would be a great fit for the Bruins, as would Makar or Quinn Hughes.
Don't do like we're being too ridiculous.
Makar and Quinn Hughes are much better players than Evan Bouchard overall. And those two players are locked up. Evan Bouchard is heading into RFA, which is why he's potentially on the table, because he's going to require a massive contract for the Oilers to keep him. And I just don't know if that makes a lot of sense for them, given where they are and the cap constraints that they have. My consideration here for Bouchard would obviously be an off-season deal. The Oilers aren't going to unload Bouchard this season. You trade his RFA rights, or maybe can you sign and trade?
I
don't think they would.
No. You would trade the
rights.
Yeah. Although I want to say, I could be wrong. I don't think so. But I feel like PLD might have been a sign and trade situation. But I don't think you can sign and trade. I think it's like a X amount of months until you can trade them. But anyway.
But yeah, I'm talking about two separate deals here. And I think like Coyle would make sense with the Oilers, maybe. But I don't know. That's further down the road. I'm just considering the fit there. But I do think Carlo to the Oilers makes a lot of sense for the Oilers, and it would make sense if the Bruins got the right deal for Carlo. I wouldn't rush to push him out the door.
Yeah, I think that Carlo deal would make sense for both sides. I will say the other trade, Bouchard for Coyle and Lohrei, if I'm trading Evan Bouchard, I'm using that as the last opportunity for the next little while to really restock the cupboard. So like load up on picks or young prospects. So I don't know. Jury's still out for me on Lohrei. I'm kind of an asshole about that.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think you're an asshole.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the jury is very much still out on Lohrei.
Yeah. So, but that's your deal. Okay. So you got Brandon Carlo to Edmonton, and the Bruins get a young offensive prospect that they haven't had that is good for kind of a while now. So
it's something to consider. Just chew on that.
Something that we like being a little early on things.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our thing there. We told you that we had Jakub Lauko Movie Club coming today, and boy, do we. We have it in just a few seconds. Jakub Lauko, if you do not know, is a massive Lord of the Rings fan. It's all he cares about. So we are showing him other movies, having him review other movies, and I'd say that we're 1 for 1, but find out for yourself. Here is the first installment of Jakub Lauko Movie Club. Back on the show for a very special reason is Minnesota Wild forward Jakub Lauko. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Before we get into anything, I got to bring up when we were in Chicago and I was looking for skates, for some reason, you decided to quote tweet my looking for skates and say, like, he needs a size 5, everybody. And then I woke up the next day and, like, there was like a New York Post headline that was like, NHL star dunks on podcaster. And everybody was like, why the hell did this happen? So thank you for that. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just had to at that point. I saw it and I'm like, I can't not to do it. So I had to do it. But I think it was a good timing.
I did see some online chatter. I was like, why does Lauko hate Pete? That was so random. And I just didn't touch it. I was like, that's awesome.
What size skate are you?
I'm 8.5, 8.5.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah, the skates are always a
Yeah.
little smaller than their shoe size. So there's no way Pete has 9.5. So that's
I
just
do.
So this is confusing. So yeah, but
feats.
But what size? No, the skates are always small.
Yeah, I know, but people were like, there's no way you're a size 9 shoe.
I know that.
I'm a size 9 shoe and I'm a size 8.5 skate.
Do you have fillers by your toes there or what?
What did you say?
Do you have some fillers by your toes in the
I do not.
It's that episode of Doug.
Up.
He's wearing a bunch of extra socks. No, I'm a
no lips, no fillers, nothing. Empty.
So I'm an 11.5 shoe and I do 9.5 skates. That seems like I'm doing too small.
Yeah.
Too small.
Too small.
Anyway, the reason why Jakub is back with us is because this is going to be the first installment of a series we call Jakub Lauko Movie Club. You're a big movie guy. You've seen at least 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
We know which
At
3.
least, yeah.
They're all called Lord of the Rings. They're your favorites. And we're going to have you come on and review other movies.
That's the plan. That's the plan. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, we want to expand your horizons a little bit. And we are starting off with quite a choice in the substance. And I said this to DJ when we came up with this idea. I was like, this is either the best way to start or the worst way to start, because there's a chance he will not do a second movie after we recommend the substance first. So, and you told me you don't like horror movies. I said, it's fine. It's just a body horror movie, but it is like the body horror movie. It is horrific.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was an experience, let me tell you that.
Okay. I'll do a little synopsis and then we're just going to kind of guide you through breaking this film down for our loyal listeners. The Substance is a 2024 body horror film from Coralie Farja. When an aging celebrity is fired from doing workout tapes, she takes a black market drug that creates a younger and better version of herself. Though the initial results earn her fame, she becomes consumed with not trying to fall apart while leading a double life. The Substance is an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes and earned Demi Moore a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. Jakub, how did you like The Substance?
So, like, first of all, I didn't watch any trailers, didn't look what that movie is about, so I was completely in a blind. So I jumped right into it. First of all, I think Demi Moore looks really fucking good still. Yeah, I mean the concept, just like it wasn't a bad idea to make a younger self. I didn't mind it. I think it was a creative, but I don't think there was much of a story going on. It was just her battling with herself over something that she used to be good looking. Now she's older, and I don't know. I didn't really get it. The ending of the movie was
Insane.
entertaining. Insane.
insane.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me. Have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
Yes.
Oh
Of
yeah,
course.
when they were sitting in a balcony and shooting everyone, there was blood everywhere. Just I mean, like I don't know what the hell was the director thinking about the last scene, but it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, it was like 2 hours of wasting time on an airplane with really good visual of us of two beautiful ladies, and so I don't really know what to think about the movie. Like I'm probably not gonna watch it again. That's for sure. I don't
Oh,
know
definitely
how
not.
you guys feel about that.
The
Just based on that
rewatchability
last.
here is
Oh
so
yeah,
low. It's so
yeah.
low.
I mean, if I like honestly, I don't know if it only can get better from this point, right? Like if you recommend me another movie, it only can get better. I feel like.
Well, I don't know. That I wouldn't feel so safe in saying that. I think it can only get more enjoyable because like
Oh, more.
I didn't hate this movie, but I definitely didn't enjoy it. And I didn't enjoy my experience. I'm not a big body horror guy, and this really, really goes for it in terms of the body
Oh yeah.
horror. And
Oh yeah.
I was like really like writhing around on my couch trying to like cover my eyes and but also see what's happening. It was all very
And
uncomfortable.
it wasn't just the body stuff. It was, for me, a lot of it was the shots of food, a lot of close
Oh.
shots of
Oh
spilled
yeah.
food or food being eaten with hands or people chewing with their mouth open. Just really, really disgusting. Plus, there was boobs. It was just so much stuff that I was like, oh, what a gross film this is, Jakob.
Yeah, you gotta what's the name of the actor who was like the little like prick
Dennis Quaid.
director of. Oh yeah, it's great. Like the first scene is when he's chewing on that shrimps, right? I'm like, yeah, like damn, what the,
Yeah,
like
I have
then
like
you
a
have.
phobia of people eating really
Oh
loud and
yeah.
disgusting, and that may have been the most disgusting part of the movie for me was like the
Oh yeah.
close-up shots of him like just ripping shrimp apart. It was horrible. That was completely unnecessary. As well, I think like the subtlety was not what this movie was going for
Yeah.
by any means at any point, but that stuff just felt a little unnecessary to me. I didn't
Oh
need
yeah.
it. I could have understood that he was a gross misogynist without seeing him eat shrimp extremely up close.
Do you know what actually like make me feel a little more the most like not disgusting but most uncomfortable uh when she was in that stage of like changing and she tried to cook that French food.
Mhm.
You
So
know what she
gross.
was. Oh my god, I was like kind of like I was probably the most grossed out of the whole movie in that scene. I don't know, it just made me so uncomfortable because I don't know, I like to cook at home and everything, and she was like a lot of makeup, she wasn't looking pretty there, she was throwing food everywhere, just it just made me like so uncomfortable, like so disgusting from it. I don't know. It was I guess like probably the director that did a good job to make you feel
It does
disgusted, but
lead that does lead to my favorite element of this film, which is how each version of this person, Elizabeth, the older person,
yeah.
and Sue, the new person, inconveniences the other person's life because Sue ruins Elizabeth's body and makes her body break
Yes.
down, and Elizabeth leaves the apartment a mess. And
Yeah,
each time they
yeah.
switch back, Sue's like, that bitch! Oh, this place is disgusting. And each time Elizabeth comes to, she's like, I don't have an arm anymore. And we're supposed to watch that being like, it really is horrible how they are to each other.
I mean, the entire movie is about like basically self-loathing and self-hatred, both
Oh
in
yeah.
like the like just in a general sense of like you hate how you age, like before the substance, but also after the substance. You literally hate the other physical version of you, which I found that part interesting. I went into this movie knowing the hype, and this movie was very, very hyped up. And aside from like the technical elements of it, I wasn't blown away by anything really.
No, I thought this was a bad movie.
I
I
didn't
don't
think it
think
was
it's the
bad.
worst movie I've ever seen. It was way too long. I was begging for that movie to end. Once we were honestly like, once it was like 1:45 in, I was like, wrap it up. She dies at
Yeah.
the end. She's gotta, right? All right, let's
Yeah.
begin that process, please. And
I-
there were like, it was, Sean, I know that you think it was very, very like film student 101 in how everything was a metaphor.
It was
and-
just like so on the nose while also like not really saying anything. Like the whole film is about like how women are objectified, and they prove that point by objectifying women for the entire movie. And I'm just like, what is going on? It was just like a massive waste of time. And I think again, like I didn't watch the movie being like, I am not enjoying myself, but I watched it and I'm just like, felt empty. Like it was just a very pointless movie.
Did you like it, Jakob?
No, I told you, like, I wasted my time or on a plane coming back from Colorado, so I didn't mind wasting my time, but yeah, like I didn't enjoy it. Like, I I think I understand like what he was saying, that you want to like womanize, like women, like you just throw away the old one, bring the new one and everything, which was like pretty nicely done because of that Dennis Quaid character there. Oh, but I mean, like, it just at the end, you create some like monster-ish blob, the Fink looking something.
So you didn't think she was hot at the end?
I mean, she was squirting blood everywhere, so I don't think so.
So not your type? Got it. Okay.
We're updating that
But-
Raya profile with each answer. No
I don't like it. I
Alyssa
don't-
Sue Monstros.
Looking for not a blob.
Yeah, no, blob. Yeah, I don't really know what was the point of that like ending scene. I mean, like, if the ending would be like anyhow better, different, I might have enjoyed more. But that ending was just a mess.
I
What?
feel like that it could have been a 1 hour and 45-minute movie, and it would have been way more palatable and enjoyable. This is what, like two and a
221,
half?
I believe.
I'll
Almost
say-
2.5 hours. And
Yeah.
you hit a certain point, definitely. I think everybody, whether you like it or not, you hit a certain point and you go, all right, I get it. Let's kind of move this along a little bit, please, because it just keeps hammering the same point over and over and over again. That's my biggest complaint about
I think
it.
the movie's way more compelling if she just kills her younger self at the end and then has to deal with the consequences of what she has turned herself into. Like all of the shit with the monster and stuff at the end is just so unnecessary. And like I view gore and horror like spice, where it's just like if it adds to the flavor, good, but if it's spicy just for the sake of being spicy, then it's a waste of time. So at the end of the movie, walking down the hallway spraying blood everywhere, and I'm just like, we're just doing this because we want to. And
Yeah.
it was like, it's not advancing the plot, it's not telling any kind of story, and it's just so much of this doesn't make any sense. Like she did this to be younger, but like she doesn't get to experience being younger at all. So like why would you keep
Well, I think that's part of the theme and it's part of the message is like you cannot turn back time and you cannot recapture your youth. So it's kind of a waste of time and you're only hurting yourself by trying to do that. And I think that's ultimately the message here. But I can see why it would not be received well in the way that it was presented for some people. for
Off of
sure.
what Sean said about all the blood spewing all over the place, Jakob, you said that you watched it on the plane. What did your teammates think when they peeked over at your screen, if at all?
So I'm sitting next to Trenny, Yakov Trenin, and he's always watching some historical documents or reading books and I saw him like looking to the left at me like what. Just- I, I, I saw I got Zach Bogosian and Midzi, Jake Middleton behind me on the left, so they're looking straight to my iPad when I watching something. So I think they had a really good show as well if they were looking at it. And there were some like scenes in that movie where I was like, oh my god, hopefully no one sees that I'm watching this. But but yeah, so definitely when someone was walking by, there was a little peeks to that. Yeah.
So you didn't like the movie and it caused a commotion. Loving this review so far. Some questions about the actual substance itself that I would love to ask you. One, would you have taken the substance?
No.
No? Okay.
Would you
Even
like,
like-
would you like to have another human being coming off your back? I wouldn't.
You don't
I
know
would not
that.
like to have another human being coming on my back. No.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You don't know that at the time, though. Like, you have to approach the question from her perspective. First of all, you're also like a young man who's in his athletic
Oh, yeah.
prime. Say you're 50 years old and you've got a chance to be the best version of yourself as a hockey player, as a young man. Like, you're thinking you're coming back as like Connor McDavid. And would you consider it if it was offered to you, not knowing what the actual like thing that you're signing up for is?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I would be 55, I'll be happy to sit at my garden, smoking cigar, playing golf, and not doing anything, and never going to play back to backs again. That's, that's, that's what I'm looking for when I'm 55. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's a great perspective. And I used to think that when I was younger, before I started to get old, I was like, I got to say, people are like, oh no, I'm getting old. Getting old sounds awesome. You don't have to do as much shit. But as you get old, you'll feel a little differently, I think. But it's a wonderful perspective to have. The other question about the substance, would you have messed up taking the substance on the initial install and died? Because I am positive at least two of us here would have.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw those like big needles, and like I don't know, like how would you even like know where to like stick it? Like I would probably kill myself. Yeah, like 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say one of the most far-fetched parts of that movie is the instructions being followed, because there's no
There's
way
this-
those instructions would have done it for me.
I would need like a video with
Yeah,
all the
YouTube tutorial.
instruction tutorial, like how to insert it, how to do it. But it was just like what was the first one? The
Activator?
Activator. Then it
Yeah.
was like switch or something. I'm like, what the hell? Like I would have no idea.
Legitimately, it looks like a home brewing kit. I don't know if anybody has ever done like a home brewing beer kit. It's got tubes and it's got like hoses and funnels and everything. And it has specific instructions. And you take it all out, you read it all, and you're like, I still need someone to be here to tell me how to do all this stuff. So the idea that this thing that could kill you is being sent with these very cutesy, like Apple-esque, simple, it's just all caps, do this, do that. No, I would be dead so quickly.
Absolutely,
I-
100%.
Another
Yeah.
thing, outside of the fact that, yeah, that requires a medical professional, how come at no point they were like, I'm going to leave a note for her? Like, there was never any attempt to communicate with the other one.
Just with food,
Yeah.
leftover food.
Like, why would you not, like my first, if I had like a roommate basically that I never saw, we just were just passing the night, and I came home one week and the apartment was a mess, I'm going to leave a
And
note
do-
and be like,
Do
hey,
you
man.
do you know like do they have like that's when you said it, like because they said it like multiple times throughout the movie that you are one, right? Like you are one person, and like did they not know what the other person did, or like was it just like the 7 days that they had, and it
Yeah.
was completely blank for the other person's 7 days?
That was my other thing, is that like the whole thing is you are one, but they clearly were not.
Yeah.
Like they
Like
Live
they were like
completely separate
bipolar,
lives.
or like
and it wasn't even a situation where like it was obviously to a certain extent, but like they did not like Sue did not need Elizabeth to like live her life. She just needed her there to like siphon energy off of her, and obviously got to a point where she needed to switch back. But like it was like a very one-sided like Sue could just keep doing this or whatever. But like Elizabeth didn't need Sue in the same way that Sue needed Elizabeth, and vice versa. Like it,
Correct.
just a whole lot of stuff didn't make any
And
sense.
I mean, that's made clear in a few different scenes, but Elizabeth watches Sue on TV, watches an interview being like, what's she going to say? How's she going to answer this question? If you're one, you're supposed to remember all
No.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like Elizabeth signs up for the substance to experience the benefits of it, and she doesn't get any of the benefits ultimately. She is completely living in the dark while creating a secondary version of herself that gets to reap all the benefits without appreciating Elizabeth or Elizabeth experiencing any of it. So like I think that's like the ultimate, that's the downfall, and I think that's a message of like you're wasting your time by trying to become younger, because it's not going to work for you, and you're not going to get to enjoy it. You're not going to experience it. So it's a fruitless endeavor.
Well, off of that, a lot of times you'll watch a movie and you'll be like, it doesn't make this product look particularly cool, or it doesn't make this car look very fast or whatever. If you are thinking about using the substance, don't watch this movie, because this movie makes the substance look like the worst product in the world. And I was wondering, like, how many, I know it's like an illegal thing, but they have to have no success stories. Every single one has to end this way.
well,
Yeah, like you saw that with that old
The
man
guy.
in that coffee shop, right? Like
Mhm.
it was the guy who gave her that USB flash disk, right? The young guy at the beginning. Yeah, he was telling her it was miserable, that it gets less and less bearable, right? So yeah, it's definitely there's no bright side of having that. I would say there's probably nothing.
Did you like anything about the movie other than the hot ladies?
uh, I mean, like, I like the idea. I think the idea was good. It was just probably like it was just pointless at the end. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea to make a younger copy of yourself, and you guys like fighting over control or whatever the other each wants. But I think it could have made much better than it was.
So if they made a Substance 2 in which they took the same idea and told a different
Hopefully not.
story, would you be in?
Probably if I watch the first one, I'll watch the second one. But like now when we broke the movie down, and we did this whole thing, I would definitely watch it, but I wouldn't have any expectations. I probably my expectation would be so low that it could get just better at this point.
We all know Jakob loves a good trilogy.
That's right.
He wants 3 of them. He wants
Substance
to.
free.
I don't know anyone who likes a trilogy like you. I will say, if
He
we
likes 2 towers more than he likes 2 aerobics instructors.
yes, if we need to say one nice thing about this movie, I mean, Demi Moore was awesome in it, and
Mhm.
the yellow coat, awesome. You would wear that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So dope.
I really liked it. I really liked it.
Okay,
I love the
think,
visuals.
I think when even when the other girl, the Sue, when she wore it, when she had that bodysuit under it, I think it was pretty cool.
From like from a technical standpoint, like sound design, visuals, set design, all of those, I think they knocked out of the park. So
I think
from a filmmaking
you know,
technical standpoint, I loved it.
you know what I really like? It was that first scene with her star.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the very first, no, not the very first was when they put the substance into the egg and it just duplicate. But the scene with the star, I think it was like it really like started the movie, like her whole like character, or her whole personality at that point, because like she started, they put her star down, big star, everyone's talking about it, taking pictures of it, they walking by, they were talking about it, and time after time they're like, oh, she played in that movie, right? and then no one talked about it, and then the last guy was to drop the hamburger on it, right? So I think it set it up like her personality pretty gay, pretty great. So I
Mhm.
think that was a pretty cool part of the movie, which was one of the few. But I think the
John,
whole
do you have
sequence is
something?
pretty good.
Well, that just reminded me of how, like, the end of the movie where her disembodied face is crawling back to the star, and that there embodies like my whole problem with the movie. Is like it is such like it could be so good, but then you just do like it doesn't feel like you tried that hard. Like it's just like, oh, she's crawling back to the fame that she once had. It's like, oh, cool, dude. Like I like yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you're trying to do. Congrats. Like it did not make me, it didn't challenge me at all for something that was trying to be so impactful. Like at no point was I like not understanding or really questioning outside of like the logical errors with it. But like I wasn't at no point confused or challenged by what the movie was trying to
Oh,
prove.
I don't think that its goal was to challenge you. I think it was very clear that it knew exactly what it was doing.
That's my
and
problem.
They were there to fuck around.
Yeah, they were there
Trying
to
to
be
freak
in your
shit.
face. Yeah.
Jakob, the rating scale will be out of 5 grapes. So how many grapes would you give The Substance?
So 5's the best, 1's the worst, or 1's the best, 5 is worst.
I mean, if you want to go 0 grapes, if you really hate it, but 5 is the best. 5 grapes
5 is the best.
the coveted top.
Okay, if 1 is the worst, I honestly can give them 1 grape because only Joker 2 can get 1 grape, which was
Wow.
probably which was probably the worst movie ever made. I think even a Sharknado or whatever was that movie made when they was better than Joker 2. So I would give it 2 grapes.
2 grapes. Okay, that sounds. I mean, we want to quickly go around. I'd say I give it like 1.5 grapes, Pete.
I think I would probably give it like 3 grapes.
I was gonna give it 2.5 grapes.
Oh wow! So I went lowest. I thought Sean hated it more than I did.
I mean, I wasn't, the acting in it was good,
Mhm.
all things considered. It was visually like intriguing. The actresses are beautiful. Dennis Quaid is, I kind of like him in certain things.
Well, that's problematic.
yeah, well,
You shouldn't like him.
Yeah, you're not
I
supposed to
know.
like that
I like
character.
him in certain things. Like there was redeeming qualities of it. It's just like the story itself sucked.
Dennis Quaid's character initially cast as Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta was supposed to play that character,
Oh, he
and
would've
then
killed that.
he went.
He
and
would have rocked in that role.
passed away. So
right.
we ended up getting Dennis
Yeah.
Quaid there. Yeah, Jakob, I think it is a successful first review. We're gonna do Joker 2 next.
No,
gonna
no,
be-
no, 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 please. I can't talk about it. No.
The
I'm-
bleeding.
I think we
mean,
have to because I
that's-
haven't seen Joker 2 yet. So now I
That's-
feel like
that's-
we got it.
Okay, Jakob, you are the best. We love talking to you. We love talking movies, and you are really just like the preeminent movie expert of our time. That was excellent.
Thank you. First time. So hopefully it's gonna be better next time.
Thank you to Jakob Lauko. He will be back. What a good time.
Hell yeah. Also, if you got an idea of what movie you want us to do next, drop it in the comments. We are open for business here. And I would like to give him a more enjoyable experience next time.
Yeah, we want to keep him still excited to do it. And then every now and then, it makes it hit more when we then give him a shitty one to do. We all have to watch the shitty movies too. We're just more used to watching shitty movies than he probably is. He did throw out one that he wants to do that I think all 3 of us are on board with doing. So keep your eyes peeled. There will be more very good stuff from Jakob Lauko. Yeah, that movie stunk and should not be nominated for Best Picture. Like the
I'll
Bad
push
Job
back,
Academy.
I'll push back on stunk, but I do agree it should not be in the best picture.
I think it should be
category.
nominated for a lot of things, but not Best Picture. Like I think there's actresses that deserve nominations, like set design, costume design, all that kind of behind the scenes stuff. But as an actual full film, I don't know about all that.
Space Squirrel. Squirrel after my own heart. I would love to do A Serious Man. I would love Jakob Lauko's takes on Michael Stuhlbarg's performance in A Serious Man. What a movie.
Speaking of squirrel, get ready to learn squirrel because the squirrel suit has arrived.
We had a quick, we'll do it a little thing on Connor Hellebuyck right now because you were watching the Avs Jets game. I watched some of it before dipping out. The broadcast said that it was a showdown of the top 2 Hart candidates.
Yeah, it was more aggressively put than that. I think that one of the guys on the Avs broadcast said that if the season ended today, it would be a 2-horse race between Nathan MacKinnon and Connor Hellebuyck for Hart. To which I responded, shut the fuck up.
There's been
God, I'm exhausted by the Hart discussion already because every time it's come up, it has been one of us or both of us being completely exasperated at the narrowing of it down when it doesn't need to be narrowed down. First, it was Kirill Kaprizov, but ultimately, it's always Leon Draisaitl who is not being considered, which is insane to me because he would be the leader in my clubhouse.
Yeah, this is a year in which the big headline topics present themselves, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk. I can't spend. I'm gonna just lose my fucking mind if I do this. It's Connor McDavid hit chat. It's the weirdest Hart conversation there's ever been, and I was saying before the show, my issue with the Hart conversation is if you put a gun to my head and said, who's the Hart winner? I probably would have an answer, but largely, I'm not sure. And that is such a better answer than anybody else's answer to who is the Hart winner so far this year, because everything has been so emphatic and so narrow-minded.
And like, why are you trying to make it less interesting?
Yeah.
It's a really interesting year for the Hart discussion, and it seems like everybody's trying to downplay it or narrow it to a less interesting case. And specifically with Hellebuyck, I have pushback on, I think he's having an unbelievable season, and he should get some consideration. Ultimately, when you have several other skaters who are making really strong cases for a Hart candidacy, and you have a goaltender who is not completely saving his team and bailing out his team, which, like, obviously any great goaltender who is having as good a year as Connor Hellebuyck is bailing out his team to a certain degree. But the Winnipeg Jets are also 3rd in the league in goal scoring. So it's not like this is a completely unworthy team that he is dragging to relevance, which he's been in that spot in the past. He's just having a really good year for a goaltender. He's absolutely going to be the Vezina winner, I think. But I don't know if I consider him strongly enough for Hart to call him the second in a 2-horse race.
Not to pile on this broadcaster, but Hellebuyck to me is an easy Hart winner if some things change. And basically the big if with him, as there is an if with MacKinnon, can he just stop getting a bunch of empty net assists? Cool stat line, bro. Love you, Nathan MacKinnon. With Hellebuyck, if his team is incompetent down the stretch and they end up one of the top 2 teams in the Pacific, that seems really Hart to me. But that's not what's happened so far. His team is not incompetent. His team scores goals. His team does other stuff. They're getting great goaltending, and they're also scoring goals. Are they a perfect team? No. Are they a lot better off because they have Connor Hellebuyck? Of course. But that can be said for any team with a Hart candidate.
Yeah, and they're not like bleeding defensively either. So like this is a team that is scoring a bunch and defending moderately well with great goaltending. Unfortunately, for all goaltenders, including Connor Hellebuyck, you usually don't win Hart unless you are the sole reason your team is relevant.
We need to have a segment on the show. Famously, I'm not a Hart voter anymore. Used to be, not to brag. I used to snub Erik Karlsson like it was my job. We need to do like a speed round where we line up like 5 Hart voters back to back to back to back, and we just switch from 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, and then dump them when we're done, and just be like, hey, you don't think it's just like, your mind isn't made up, right? You don't think it's obvious, right? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Next person. You don't think this is just like an obvious slam dunk thing, right? And just move. It'll be great radio, great television, great podcasting. I need to know that nobody is dead set on one person right now. Because as you said, if there is one obvious person, it's the only person that no one's even talking about. And I'm fine if you don't have Leon Draisaitl as your Hart winner. I think it's an open conversation. I just need to know that people are making it an open conversation if they're not just picking one guy.
Yeah, and like if you're gonna do the like, well, he's the most valuable to his team sort of angle, in which case, like maybe you take off Draisaitl, maybe you take off. I don't know who else you take off in that
McKinnon,
case.
maybe, but he is the most
Well,
valuable to his team.
He sure is.
Yeah.
Like, but that argument I think ultimately lands on Quinn Hughes.
Yes, I agree. I think they would be Hughes, or if you're doing most valuable to their team, it's Hughes, and then you try to wedge Hellebuck in there, but you can't ignore that they're like he's not scoring goals for them.
No, especially when you look at across the league, he is not performing up to some of his peers.
Oh,
Nedeljkovic got points. Decord got points. Gustafsson got points. We're talking goalies contributing on both ends of the ice. That's the new standard.
yeah.
Connor Hellebuck, where are you at?
We didn't put it on our show, but there was a graphic that somebody put out, and it was like, here are the best goaltenders this year. And the graphic was save percentage relative.
Oh, yeah.
It was like relative save percentage, which means save percentage compared to other people who have played goalie for your team that season. So guess who was the best goalie in the NHL? Yeah, it's Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah.
Like, obviously. So, but people were taking it as like these are the best goalies in the league.
Two best goalies in the league, Mackenzie Blackwood and Yaroslav Askarov.
Yeah.
The two guys that play with Alex Georgiev.
Was Askarov high on there?
I don't know, but that was my joke.
Yes, it was, but it was just basically a commentary on teams that have bad backup goalies, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh," and people act like such and such is good. Ridiculous stuff, but it's this conversation, so it's going to be ridiculous. Shall we do a slate grade,
I
Sean?
would love to.
I have not done a lot of digging and reading on this slate. Had some other stuff to do for this program, so let's just do it blind. Senators at Bruins, 7 p.m. Eastern. That is, of course, a Sergei Gonchar Bowl. Canadians at Red Wings. That is a Canadians and Red Wings. Give me shit. We're going to get one. Jeff Petrie Bowl.
Sure is.
Dang. Flyers at Rangers is a is that
Is that a Keith Yandel Bowl? It's a Kevin Hayes Bowl?
It's definitely a Kevin Hayes Bowl.
It's a Keith Yandel Bowl.
Is it a John Van Beesbrook Bowl? Did John Van Beesbrook ever play for the Flyers? I think that he did. Blue Jackets at Hurricanes. That is a
Van Beesbrook did play for both.
yes. Nailed it. Blue Jackets at Hurricanes is a at 7 p.m. Eastern. That
Blue
would
Jackets
be
Hurricanes?
Oh.
Is there an obvious one?
Not obvious, but it's Ray Whitney Bowl.
Okay.
Oh, it's a Ray Whitney Bowl. It's a
Not
Ron
a-
Hainsey Bowl.
Not a massive lineup here. Oh, it's an Anson Carter Bowl.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay,
10
Golden
games played for the
Knights
Hurricanes.
at Blues. That is, of course, an Alex Pietrangelo Bowl and
A,
an Ivan Barbashev Bowl.
Coaches who have been fired by the Bruins Bowl.
Yes.
True. That's a good one. Nice.
Utah Hockey Club at the Minnesota Wild. Do we
Nick Bukestad.
Nick Bukestad Bowl? Sabres at Flames. That will be a come on, Sean.
Oh, I can't. Nothing's
I
jumping
feel like
off.
there's not a lot of carryover.
Yeah, I don't.
Interesting.
We have
It's a Phil Housley Bowl. It's a Doug Gilmore Bowl.
Grant Fuhr.
Oh, it's a Chris Drury Bowl. That one, damn. That one we definitely should have gotten. Canucks at Oilers. That is a Vinny Desharnais revenge game.
Yeah,
I
it
believe
sure
he's
is.
got to be playing. I would think.
Yeah, he's on the third defensive pair with Derek
with
Forbort.
no Tyler Myers.
Yep.
There you go.
Penguins at Ducks. That is a Penguins and Ducks is a. We'll get back to it. Capitals at Kraken is at 10 p.m. Predators at Sharks. It's the Yaroslav Askarov revenge game.
Capitals Kraken is a Chandler Stevenson Bowl.
Okay. For Penguins And Ducks.
Penguins and Ducks is an interesting one.
Oh, will I have gotten any of these? It's a Chris Kunitz Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
And it's an Ian Moran Bowl. I would have gotten that if you gave me like 10 hours.
It's a Ryan Whitney Bowl.
It's a Dustin Tokarski Bowl and a Ron Tugnut Bowl as well. So
Ricard Raquel revenge game. Yep.
So here's the thing. I'm proud of us for not doing too much on the 9:00 game that's being played in Edmonton tonight. That is obviously the most interesting game tonight. It's a rematch of all the stuff, and you got Connor Garland. That's exciting. Cool. What makes this game, though, stand out is that it's being played at the same time as some trash games. This is not a very good slate. There's some, like Senators at Bruins. You're getting a lot of rematches of recent games.
I mean, you're looking at the first 4 games here in the Eastern Conference. Those are like all playoff battle.
I love
matchups.
Blue Jackets at Hurricanes. That's awesome. I love Senators at Bruins. Bruins on a back-to-back. Blue Jackets on a back-to-back as well. Canadians staying hot. I mean, Canadians Red Wings. That is it's a battleground state, if you will. I want to see how the Blues look against the Golden Knights at home. That would be a good win for them. Other than that, though, once 9:00 hits, Canucks at Oilers, all eyes will be there because you can't have eyes on Penguins, Ducks, Capitals, Kraken, or Predators, Sharks. All those games stink, my guy.
Although Predators Sharks has established a precedent of being a high event, interesting battle of 2 shit teams.
And it's a revenge bowl.
Yeah.
Revenge game. Also, we have 2 Ian Cole bowls today. Just wanna throw that out there.
Give it to me.
Blue Jackets, Hurricanes, and Utah, Minnesota.
That is fantastic.
Very exciting.
Absolutely love those games. Some news in the hockey world. Zach Hyman has shed the bubble. So that's that. Erik Karlsson is on IR, you said, Sean?
Yep. We have hockey back in Newfoundland, the QMJHL.
Yep.
Announced a team in Newfoundland. I forget what it's called, but
Who owns
I
it?
did
Who
see
bought it?
Quebec City could have a PWHL team coming
Ooh.
up, which would be incredible. Would be a big fan of that.
Very, very good. Okay, folks. Well, Pete will tell you to like in just a second, but I hope that everybody has a great day and evening.
I do too. And I would love for you to help us have a great day and evening by hammering that like button, which is the thumbs up indicator right below the video player. We very much appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And stay tuned. We've got some fun stuff coming, and you could see a swirl next week. So
Ooh.
that's worth hitting that, hammering that subscribe button, if you ask me. Great week of shows. Great week of hockey. A lot of weird stuff happened. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Go Bills.
We all silly like the mayor.